All right, Trenton Tye, welcome back to
Thank you.
Cutlery Corner.
Oh man, it's so awesome to
Glad
be
to
here.
have you stopping by again. I know it's a trip for you guys.
Like I said, we down from South Georgia or up from
Yeah.
South Georgia, whatever direction that is. But it's pretty awesome to be back here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here. So we're going to cover a few knives. The first one we're going to look at is going to be what you call Model 4.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about it.
So we wanted to freshen up the line on that end of it, and this is actually, the first three we did were more traditional. This particular one is a sharp and pointy version, and for most of the things that I like things that are sharp and pointy, and so
Yeah.
we did a little bit of a stretch model of a drop point.
Yes.
And that's what came out. So the handle's actually about a 1/2 inch on the longer side. So if you're doing detail work for like carving and skinning on things, it's super
Yes.
handy on that end. But for
Yes.
me, it just looks so cool.
Yes, the sharp and pointy, yes. Carbon steel, of course, all handmade.
Yep, $10.95.
Very impressive. I know you put a lot of work into this, and it takes a lot of years of skill because you've been at this for a long time, right? Ever
Long
since you
time.
were a little guy?
Yeah, well, actually, I saw my first blacksmith when I was 7, and that's the guy that I actually got to train with when I was in my 20s. So we've been at it a while.
You've been at it a while. It looks great. And so you really want to focus on just a knife that you're going to use, a very practical knife, you know, deer skinning knife or hunting knife. Or...
So the whole reason that we did this series of knives is because I wanted my local deer hunters to be able to afford one of our knives. Because if you bust out with an $800 skinning knife, if you put that on a deer, you're mad.
I was starting to say, who's taking that to the woods?
Yeah, exactly. So these bad boys are designed to do the job. They're 1095 steel. They've got a good temper. They're effective, and they're good looking.
I like the simplicity of it. I love the coffin handles that you use, and then your pecan wood handle.
Pecan.
We're going to argue over that all day long. But also super impressive, the sheaths. These leather sheaths, some of the best I've ever seen here on the show, honestly.
Let me tell you, leather, we used to actually do tack work on some of the hunting plantations we were around, and I always hated that you had a great knife and not a good sheath. This is actually bridle leather. This actually is when they do the process, it's waxed and oiled.
Yeah.
This is the stuff they use on high-end tack. We get a great deal on it. We can pass that on to everybody. And yeah, the sheaths are tanks.
So I think everybody's going to love the knife. You're really going to like that sheath to go along with it. I mean, it's a perfect combo to get. Let me give you the item number. Item number is 113811. It's the USA made. Trenton Tye is standing here with us. He can tell you more about it too if you want to call him up. But that one's $158. So item number 113811. We're going to show you his brand new camp knife, and this is actually Model 5. You are sticking kind of with that same concept with this coffin style handle, the pecan wood handle, and the carbon blade, but obviously this one's very, very different. So tell us what's going on here.
So the camp knife style, this particular blade shape is a pretty common one. It's very popular on our bushcrafters, but I wanted to do something a little extra, a little awesome on there, and if you'll notice, on that left-hand side, there is a cool little brass divot.
Yes, we do notice. So I'm going to give this to you, and I want you to show us why that's there.
All right, so I'm going to have to do this. Now, I've done broke one of these sticks here, terrifying. But if you're a survival person, you know what I'm doing already. But I had a friend of mine named Jamie Burley, who's a survival expert, and he loves bow drills. And this is how you're going to start your fire. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this piece. This is a fire block here, and this is my bow drill. Now I gotta do this little freaky here. That divot right there is actually going to be your top cap for your bow drill. And so that locks in right there. If you saw how that locked in there.
Yes, I heard it.
See, that's always the aggravation because normally that top piece, it comes out easy. But what I'm gonna do is using this string right here, if you'll look right down there, I'm gonna put a little pressure here on the top and just a couple of, look at that.
Oh yeah, we have fire. Oh wow. I mean, that's legit smoke. We're going to burn the studio down.
We're going to fire it up. Check that out. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That is awesome. But what makes it awesome too is this is all handmade. I mean, what was your inspiration? Like, I'm going to make a knife with that on there.
So look, again, if you're a survivalist and you don't go into the woods with a pocket full of Bic lighters, you're not a survivalist, okay? At the same time, for those of us that are in historical reenactment, this is how people survived, and it's just cool as crap.
It is very cool.
Look, it's a brass divot and a camp knife.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So again, being able to make fire this way and to take a stick and make smoke, I can't tell you it's practical, I can tell you it's awesome.
It's very cool because I have never sold a knife on the show that does that. I mean, seriously, we have just been really bragging on your leather sheaths. I know these are handmade leather sheaths. You make them there at your shop too. I mean, this is just so impressive all the way around. We love Trenton Tye. We love it when you stop by here, and you always bring us just something super cool and creative and what people really want. Now, we don't have a ton of these. It looks like we only have 30. And I think this is going to be a great seller for you for the camp knife. But it's $178. The item number for this one is 113812. So write it down or call as fast as you can because that is something else
cool.
right there.
So cool.
113812 on the camp knife. This is the knife that you call Model 6?
6. This is our version of a puku. Mr. Jamie Burley, who's a good friend of mine, he's a survival expert, all that kind of stuff. These pukus are huge in the survival community. They're a European knife, a traditional knife. I believe they're Finnish, if I'm not mistaken. And they're characterized by a shorter blade and a tapered handle.
Yeah.
And Jamie wanted us to do our version in it. So again, we've got our pecan wood on there, our coffin handle, and our good bridle leather sheath, and bam, your puku.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Is it because of the blade size? Why is that one the chosen one, you know, for the
So, I mean, almost every culture has a shorter work knife like this. Longer blades are usually specialized. They're great for fighting everything, but if you're doing household chores or you're whittling or doing just about everything that's involved in bushcraft, that shorter blade with a little bit of a thinner handle, especially that taper in the back, does just about everything you need to do in the woods.
And this is kind of your trademark look. You have this coffin style handle, the pecan wood handle, carbon blade. Why do you kind of, well, it works. I guess that's why you stick with it.
It works and it makes money.
Well, no,
that's the thing. There's so many, look, the knives throughout history had to be effective and they had, the people making these knives had to sell them and they had to work. And there's a particular sweet spot between the right materials, the right method of putting it together, and it doing good in the field. And that's what we do in our shop. And we've got our thing with our particular style. You see one of my knives, you know it's coming out of my shop.
That's right.
And there you go.
And we are so impressed with these leather sheaths. I mean, they are wonderful. And I know you guys hand make those too, but I mean, when you get this knife at home and you see the leather sheath that comes with this knife, it's going to be just as impressive as the knife. It is so nice. If you have the opportunity to get a hold of one of Trenton Tye's knife, please do, because they are pretty limited. We only have 30 of this one, but it's brand new. And let me give you the item number, 113813. It's $158. It is one of the smaller ones, more practical ones, and I think everybody's going to love it. So go ahead and lock yours in if you want to get the puku. Item number 113813.